All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful they got there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, dealing with, the sellouts, of our people, and what an embarrassment, all right, to be a sellout, and we're in a far better position than any of these celebrities. All right, our people, that, have made a deal, okay, with this devil, okay. We're in a far better position, all right, than our people that we see in the limelight, okay, that get praise and, have the money and, okay, the wealth and the status, okay, in this world. We're in a far better position, okay, because as we understand the times we coming into, none of those things are going to matter. Okay, the Lord is for the judge, and the Lord doesn't have a respect of person. Okay, and these people, these celebrities, these entertainers are guilty of a whole hell of a lot. All right, because they was on the front line and being weaponized and leading our people, into a rebellion against Yahweh Bashim al Shai. And there's a punishment for that, and one of the things that we see now is that, all right, these people that are celebrities are being embarrassed, okay, by Esau more than ever, you know, and they're being put, to open shame, okay. And as a man, all right, when you can't stand on what you believe in, when your spirit, when your soul belongs to another man, all right, that's the most shameful thing, all right, the most shameful position that you can be in as a man, okay. You can't even teach, all right, certain principles to your children because you can't stand on those principles, okay. There's a man that's telling you, okay, what to stand on. And then it's the wicked Esau. He's telling you, okay, what you need to co-sign on and what you need to be against, okay, making you do particular things, okay, participate in rituals. So you can't push, all right, any principles on your children, your grandchildren, no, because you can't stand on nothing, okay. And as a man, all right, it's the worst position that you can be in. Now, I want to deal with this incident with Snoop, and I'm just using this as an example, okay, of not being, because here it is, you are already in a society, that condemns, all right, Jake for being a man of integrity, a man of structure, the leader of his household, okay. You already, looked at as a villain for that, okay. But now on another level, okay, you have to co-sign wickedness, okay, because this man has given you a lifestyle, okay. That's the worst position to be in. Now, it says, recent controversy. It says in August 2025, Snoop Dogg faced significant backlash against criticizing the inclusion of an alphabet, all right, couple in the 2022 Pixar animated film Lightyear. On the It's Given podcast, he described taking his grandson to see the movie and being caught off guard by a scene featuring a lesbian couple raising a child, which promoted questions, okay, from his grandson that he said he couldn't answer. Okay, his specific comments included, "I didn't come here for this shit. I just came to watch a goddamn movie. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for." So his grandson, all right, asked the question about, all right, these two women, all right, these two elbows, all right, raising a child in this Pixar film, okay, Lightyear. Okay, he's not able to answer. Why? Because he has to be careful what he says and how he says it, not to offend. All right, and even saying what he said, he's still offended. Okay, and guess what? Guess what they do? They made him bend down and kiss the ring in front of everyone, man. Okay, it said following widespread criticism, Snoop Dogg representatives or his handlers initially stated that some online comments where he seemed to apologize were fake. However, right, you niggas always have to apologize. You know, that's one thing. We don't have to apologize for righteousness, man. Okay, Jake has to apologize. Okay, Nick Cannon, you know, he tried to get bold. They put their rabbi on there, and that nigga turned into a child, a boy. All right? Esau love to emasculate you, Jakes, man. So this is a new age of buck breaking, man. A buck breaking. Okay? It says, following widespread criticism, it says, however, in October 2025, Snoop Dogg publicly shifted his stance and demonstrated support for the ubiquitous community by partnering with GLAD, okay, which is the elbows, for their annual Spirit Day. You see, witchcraft. He released an inclusive children's song and music video called Love is Love, and that's where you get that divine mother spirit. Okay, the acceptance of everything. Okay, it says on his animated YouTube series, Doggyland, which featured a same-sex couple parenting a child. So he made a comment about a same-sex couple, okay, in the Pixar movie, and they made this nigga have a same-sex couple on his show, okay? Made him bow down, buck breaking, man. You see? A horrible position to be in as a man. You can't even stand on principle, okay? So when you go to here, just to look at it, look at this nigga, man. Out of here, man. Okay? And we grew up wanting to be like these niggas, wanting to be in a position with these niggas. Out of here, man. Defeated. So gone, man. And they were telling what Esau had done to these niggas, man. Okay? And telling what rituals and you know, perversions that these niggas had to participate in, man. Okay? We in a far better position, man. Let's go here. Okay? This the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 24 said, then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Okay? So a part of this ministry is us denying ourselves, man. You know, the worldly ambitions that we had, okay, the agendas and the goals and the things that we had in this world, all right, we have put them off. Okay, we get our daily bread. You know, as men, okay, we still gotta, you know, get our bread, do what we gotta do. Okay, and it says, you know, but having these, you know, ambitions and, you know, pouring ourselves into the society to try to, you know, become, okay, some type of celebrity or, you know, to chase status and clout and, you know, want to be an icon of this age. Nah, man, that's gone. Okay, that's dead. It said, for whosoever will save his life shall lose. And see, this is an example of Jake wanting to save his life. You see, he didn't want to get counseled. Okay, he didn't want to lose that lifestyle. All right, that their master gave him. You know, and a lot of our people, they're not even celebrities. When Esau presents this sea hill, when Esau snatches the rug of convenience, okay, and abundance from the masses, well, they're going to want to save their life and they're going to, all right, bend the knee. Okay, and he makes these celebrities do it all the time to condition the masses. All right, for when it's their time to bend the knee, to continue on living your life. Okay, to participate. Okay, in his system. Okay, Esau's gonna make the masses bend the knee. Okay, he said, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it, man. See, we lost our life. We checked out. Okay, but we found our purpose in Yahweh Shah. We checked out of this life. Okay, but there's a new purpose that's found in Yahweh Shah. Okay, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? And what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Okay, and our people have given up their soul, all right, for temporary wealth, and then they have to be embarrassed and humiliated continually, okay, by Esau, man, by the devil. Okay, so now, man, we in a far better position, man. We have our spirit, we have our integrity, and right, that's why you see we can do something that they can't do. They don't even qualify for this anymore. Let's go here. This is the book of Second Ezra. All right, chapter 2. Get to the point. In Second Ezra 2:44 it says, um, it says, so I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, these be they. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start up, get to the point. Start at 42. This second Ezra 2:42 says, I Ezra saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. So this is the coronation of the 144,000, those first fruits. So Ezra's is looking and seeing this massive number, that he couldn't number. All right, because if you looked into a crowd, okay, of 144,000 people, you wouldn't be able to say this is such and such number. You wouldn't be able to number those people. Okay, and it says, I saw, verse 43 says, in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and were more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. And this is Yahweh Shah crowning the first fruits. Okay, their coronation, man. Okay, proclaiming the power. All right, proclaiming the power of the elect publicly, proclaiming the power of the first fruits publicly, man. Okay, so I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, these be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of the Most High. Now are they crowned and receive palms which represent victory. And these men, they cannot fess Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. They sold the right to do that. To be a celebrity in this world, they sold their ability to confess Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay? But we can. See, we are in the position to do this, to fulfill this, man. And this gonna be forever. They did it for corruptible crowns. Okay? We'll take the load now. Okay? We'll barely get by now. We'll just have enough now. Okay? For the incorruptible crowns forever, man. Okay? And he said, then said I unto the angel, what young man is this that crowned them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of the Most High, whom they had confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay? And only there's a remnant that the Lord has reserved to do that. These niggas can't do that, man. Okay? Yeah, they done had all the women, and been here and traveled. And, You know, they move around in these circles and luxury and comfort. Okay, but they can't stand stiffly for Yahweh Shai. And this is a once in an existence opportunity, man. Okay? So that was the point, Lord will. All right, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified once again. I'm gonna give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings salutations to the whole elect Shalom.